Welcome back to another episode of The Natty Teacher. I am, of course, your host. Who else but The Natty Teacher? And today, we got a push session on the docket. Our push B session. Almost said push A, but that would, in fact, be a fabrication. It is a push B session that we got on the docket today. And what does that look like for us? Well, I'm making a few, again, not tweaks to the actual, really the workout itself. More just a couple different angle tweaks. What I mean by that is for example, my first exercise, I have a cable fly. I actually want to move the bench slightly more forward to get a little bit of a deeper stretch, and I want to focus on pausing in the hole a little bit more, probably utilizing slightly less weight, but emphasizing that stretch and contraction just a little bit more. I've noticed that as I've continued to get stronger and stronger, whether it be in the off season or with particular movements or what have you, every once in a while you got to hit the reset button in the logbook, and that is a good thing to do. Here's what I mean by that. You could use that same weight you used the week before. Maybe even add a rep or maybe a few more pounds and rep match and all that kind of fun jazz. But are you actually connecting with the target muscle you're trying to hit? So for me, what I've noticed is as I've gotten heavier and heavier and stronger on my cable flies, it's great, but I've also gotten into this routine of, okay, I hit this last week, I got to hit this week, or it's a failure, or it's not a good thing. And I'm starting to lose a little bit more of that feeling and that connection with the chest, just to overcompensate and use either more weight or try to add more reps and stuff like that. So that's when it's just time to hit the reset button a little bit. Here's also kind of the plan. Because for so long I have been lifting in that like 6 to 8 rep range or so for my top sets, like really I would say closer to 6 to 8 would be fair. Maybe minus like flat dumbbell press and all that. I've been able to add a few more reps to that. What I want to do is I want to slow things down a little bit. What I mean is literally slow things down a little bit. I've noticed my pressing, while it got quite a bit stronger pretty quickly, I also noticed that the speed, I literally was like timing them out. The speed of my reps also increased, which is not the worst thing in the world. It's not a terrible thing, but what that's also showing to me is that I am pushing a little bit quicker. And it's like, could I milk that stretch and that squeeze a little bit more? Absolutely, a lot more, to be honest, based on some of the footage that I've had. And that's one really big, positive aspect of recording your training is sometimes when you're in a set, you don't even know how fast you're going. It doesn't feel like you're going quick at all, and you're just cruising through it and you kill it, and it's like, heck yeah, this is awesome. And then you watch it back, and it's like, this could have been a lot better. I could have sat in that stretch a little bit more. I could have, contracted harder at the top. And again, I don't want to get overly scientific, but you can always be better. You know what I mean? Your form can always be cleaner, tempo can always be smoother, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so with that being said, I am going to be switching. I don't want to say switching my training as a whole, but you will notice a few movements out of my training will look a little bit different. And here's what I mean. Like my pressing, for today, usually I do a flat dumbbell press. We're actually going to be going to a low incline dumbbell press. So we're going to kind of challenge that range of motion a little bit more right now. And that angle as well. I don't know what I said range of motion. That challenge that angle a little bit more. What's that, honey? It's a little loud, honey. The speed limit's high, so it's a little loud if we have the window down. But we have the air on. So, instead of a flat, it's going to be a low incline, and what you'll notice is the eccentric, so on the way down, and coming all the way down and touching the chest, which that part I've still done, I've just added a little bit too much speed to my reps. We're going to be controlling that eccentric a little bit more of a 1-2 kind of count, pause at the bottom for a brief second, push up, get that heart contraction, which that's how pressing should be anyway. So you'll notice that now, and I was watching my incline Smith press too, and again, it's like I've already added 20 pounds and almost hitting the same amount of reps as a month or two ago, but it's because I sped everything up. And so it's like, okay, let's reset a little bit, let's take a step back, and let's rebuild and get to the reps and weight and all that we want to use, but let's do it properly. It's okay to let technique slip here and there every once in a while, but it's time for a reset, put it that way. And you have to be cognizant of that. You have to know when you need a reset. And I can tell I need a reset. When it comes to the rep ranges, this is what I was going to bring up a moment ago. I apologize for kind of cutting myself up there. My top sets will still sometimes be in that 6 to 8 rep range, but I would say closer to 8 to 10 for now, for sure. And then back off sets, I would say at least 10 reps or so. And I'm not saying I want to all of a sudden do a back off set of like 15 or something, but a back off set closer to that 10 rep range or so would be ideal. So there will be like certain weights, like for example, let's say I'm hitting a weight right now for 6. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to drop the weight too much or at all. I'm just going to work with that weight until I hit it for the amount of reps that I would like to hit it for. That's all. So like, like right now my back workouts are going really good. Well, that seems to be rolling really well. So I'm going to stick with a lot of the, obviously the movements won't change, but like those rep ranges, I do want to bump that up a little bit more for my top set. That's all. And then progress from there, kind of slowly make those incremental jumps from there. So in this session, you still should see me pressing the 130s for my low incline press. I have a strong feeling, I don't know if I'll hit it for 10. That'd be awesome. That'd be like mind-bogglingly awesome if I hit the 130s for a low incline press where I'm actually like having a dead stop or a pause, at least a brief pause at the bottom, getting that full contraction at the top. We'll see, but I'm just today's kind of testing the waters a little bit. Again, we're bumping up the incline ever so slightly, getting back to that low incline pressing, and going from there. So that's the plan. Everything else will be the same. Like I said, cable flies, that slight adjustment, like dips. I hit a set of 7 last time, so we might drop the weight a little bit, or maybe just depending on how we're feeling, we'll probably keep it about the same, and go from there. So the only other thing too is my dumbbell side laterals. I do want to clean those up a little bit and kind of go back to more of like the Y-raise style dumbbell side lateral, because right now I'm kind of doing like a hybrid lateral upright row almost. So I do want to make sure that I, reel that back in a little bit and go from there. So just as a heads up. But anyways, yeah, I'll talk through a lot more of that kind of stuff as the actual, during my voiceover, as the actual session plays out. Again, high incline press. I mean, like the last couple weeks I've been hitting top sets of like 4. So it's like, okay, like we need to, it's great. It's not horrible, but that's overshooting quite a bit. Like let's lower the weight a little bit, see if we can't hit, a top set of like 8 to 10, you know what I mean? Nice hard pause, nice decent pause at the bottom, explode up, pushing hard, all that kind of stuff. Let's back it off a little bit and be smart about it and see what we can do. So that's more of where I'm at right now. So anyways, again, I'll kind of narrate through that as the session plays out, but I'm excited. This should be it will be an awesome session. I am at the point now where I'm probably about 20 minutes away from the gym, so within the next couple minutes here, I'll pop my pre-workout. My pre right now, I'm kind of experimenting a little bit because there is I don't want to say high probability, but there is a chance that I will be switching to pretty much exclusively morning workouts, meaning like one meal, like getting up early enough to have a meal and drink about 2 liters of water, and some of that would include some electrolytes as well. So there is a chance that will be a part of my routine here in the near future. Again, not a guaranteed thing, but and it's kind of part of what this I've been kind of just holding it over for my viewers who have kept up with the videos. Again, this is some news that is kind of in the works. It's not like a huge thing. It's could be pretty exciting, but it's just a potential kind of shift in what I'm doing with my personal life kind of thing. So regardless, there is a chance that I will be training in the mornings, and so with training in the mornings, I will want to be a little bit more, hyper hydrated, get as much hydration in as possible. So I bought some electrolytes, and I'm kind of experimenting with if I feel any kind of difference in my training, with having that directly before or very shortly before my training sessions. So yeah, so my pre-workout right now is just my non-stim, serving of electrolytes, and creatine, because it does not have creatine in it. So if you guys are wondering, by the way, maybe are, maybe aren't, when it comes to creatine intake, I always kind of preached just keeping it on a little bit of the lesser amount, the 5 to 10 grams a day, and I still think you can absolutely do that. I lately have been experimenting with about 20 grams a day, and I'm going to kind of continue to do that and see how it feels and see how it works, and I'll kind of give you guys feedback. I've only been doing it now for maybe a couple weeks, so I will keep you guys in the loop on on how it feels as it plays out and as I continue to keep that consumption of creatine high. So I do like 10 grams in the morning with my gut shake, and then 5 grams pre-workout and 5 grams intra-workout. So and then that's it for the day. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, man. So I think my my mini is clonking out back there. Oh yeah. It's not really that late yet. It's not even 1 p.m. yet. So she usually naps between 1 and 2. So it's a little bit before 1. So I'm not overly surprised that she's conking out. But that's good. Get her good little nap here. She'll have some time to play with Grandma and Grandpa. And then probably have another little nap on the way home. So hopefully get about close to an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour of napping in today, which is a little low. But it's better than nothing. Make sure she's in bed at a good time tonight. So anyways, yeah, man, that's all I got. Just ranting and raving at this point. That was a long intro. Hopefully you bared with me here. And top set of, I don't want to say like fully new and improved cable flies, just slightly modified, sitting in that stretch, full contraction cable flies, all the scientific words, but just trying to, again, really, really get that chest firing hard before my big pressing movements. Top set of those cable flies coming at you right about now. All right, so to get us started, we got probably one of the bigger pains in the butt to actually get set up, and this is this cable fly. Because of the distance, you can see me kind of struggling to get in the setup here. I got to take those cables really far out, and these are not like, commercial gym grade cables. So needless to say, they are difficult to maneuver. But once you actually get set up, it's not so bad. So these are the cable flies I was talking about, the variation. If you notice, the bench is actually quite a bit further forward because I'm using a 45-pound plate instead of a 25-pound plate. So it pushes that bench out quite a bit to the point where I have to walk those cables to sit down with them rather than just lean back and grab them. But you can see I'm controlling that retraction, sitting in that stretch, opening that chest up, and then bringing the chest together, those fibers together. So very simple concept here, guys. Build up to a top set. Again, I'm really trying to keep my top sets now instead of closer to 6 to 8. I'm really trying to keep those top sets closer to that like 8 to 10 more than anything. So that's exactly what we did here. Hit a nice solid 8 here, as you can see me grind out this last one here. Maybe would have been capable of doing one more, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with where I ended there. So sit that stretch for a moment and go from there. Felt really good. Then, nice little low incline dumbbell press. We got the 130s here. You'll see what I'm doing is really emphasizing that control on the eccentric, sitting in the bottom for a quick moment. We're not going to sit super hard, but we're coming to a dead stop and then coming all the way back up. We're keeping those elbows in a more flared position and using them to come across the top line of the chest and get that nice hard contraction at the top and go from there. So I was happy with this set. I think we had, 6 reps here. Nice and controlled. We will, at some point here, I would say in the near future, definitely get that up to 8 and 10 and go from there. We did a back off set with the 110s after this as well. Then we got our high incline barbell press. We got a plate and a quarter. The first rep moved a little quick. I should have sat a little bit longer in the hole, but that's okay. You'll see that again, nice control on the way down, and we're going to sit in the bottom and come back up. Nothing super, super crazy here, guys. Just bringing that bar all the way down to the top of the upper portion of the chest. Just pressing straight up. And yes, I know it sounds crazy, locking out the elbows. I know it's a crazy, crazy concept for some people, but it's something that I feel like is important on a lot of different movements for sure. So again, top set of 8 here, and then we did drop down to, this is 185, drop down to 155, and hit that for a nice solid set of 10 as well. Again, the incline here, very, very high, so this is much more biasing the front delts. Then we got our dips. I dropped the weight like 25 pounds on these dips because I wanted to add a little bit more as far as reps go. And man, I wanted to really emphasize that stretch and pause at the bottom. This was humbling to say the least. So I was still able to add, get into that 8 rep range. I actually did see it have a 45 pound plate that I'm doing these with. I did this for 2 sets of 8, and it was very, very humbling. And I felt like I was actually hitting the chest with my dips. I felt like I hadn't really been feeling my chest a whole lot lately with dips. So I was really happy to get that nice full stretch and, contraction. So it felt really, really good. 2 sets there, like I said. Then dumbbell side lateral, same concept. I'd had a big hitch in the elbows and had really been just kind of herking and jerking weight around, so I wanted to slow that down a little bit. So we dropped down to the 40s, obviously not super, super light on side laterals, but still, not, 60s like I had been using. And we did 2 sets of 10 here and then dropped down to the 30s and did a set of like 17 there. So I was happy with that. And yeah. So again, keeping the arms a little bit straighter, making sure we're doing more of like that Y type of raise instead of just straight off to the side, and blasting those side delts. So that felt good for sure. So we'll probably work with this weight a little bit more here in the future before we make any drastic jumps up. And then to finish off this push session, movement I just don't see people doing very much anymore, and that is a close grip bench. So you'll see him coming down, letting the bar sink into the chest ever so slightly, and then pushing up here. We're just using 2 plates. At this point, obviously, I'm already, this is my 6th exercise in, so needless to say, I am, not trying to, go ridiculously crazy heavy at this point, especially with those pause reps at the bottom, but this felt really, really good. We ended up doing 2 working sets here with 2 plates. We'll clean up the 8th rep next week for sure. You kind of see me use a little hip drive on this last one, but went up all the same, and we'll catch you guys in the outro coming at you right about now. Push B session in the freaking books. Wowza, that was a phenomenal session. I had forgot what it was like to train like that, man, where you're just sitting in that stretch, sitting in the contraction, getting that nice, full, deep range of motion, all that kind of stuff, not really rushing through things. Wow. I'm going to be battered after that session, put it that way. But I know in the long term, building off of that now for a while, keeping that same pace, keeping that same tempo, all that kind of fun jazz, it's only going to be for the betterment of not only my body as far as like the physical appearance of my body, but also for things like my joints and rotator cuffs and all that kind of stuff that gets, beat up over time of just trying to progressively overload super hard to where each week you feel like you have to lift heavier and kind of form starts to go out the window a little bit. So, yeah, I'm excited. That was really fun. It was a great workout, man. It was just, like I said, just a lot of fun, really, really enjoyable session. And, it was awesome. I got nothing more to say, man. It was an awesome workout. So super, super stoked about that for sure. Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I would want to speak on as far as like cueing or anything like that. Not really, man. I mean, hopefully you guys got the general concept of like, going, having to back down on some of the weights a little bit, hitting that reset button on the logbook and really tightening up that form, and then now building off of that again. I was getting to that point where, I was like I said, I was just kind of rushing through things. I felt like I was rushing through my exercises, rushing through my reps, and just trying to get weight up rather than actually move the weight and utilize the weight to help better the muscle I'm trying to hit. And when you get to that point, man, that's where that fresh wash, that reset is needed for sure. So that's exactly what I did. But anyhoozle, yeah, man, great stuff. A lot of fun, great session, no doubt. And that's about all I got. So if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hey guys, means a lot to me, means a lot to the continued growth of the channel. So thank y'all so much for tuning in and for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, of course, drop it a like. If you really liked the video, maybe even drop it a share. Let your friends know about the Natty Teacher. That would be awesome. And if you have any comments, questions, or feedback for me, of course, please feel free to hit me up and let me know down in the comment section below. When I see it, I absolutely will respond to it. Okay. Other than that, man, hey, most importantly, God bless. And I want to give a big shout out. I don't know if he would see this or not, but I got a prep client right now, Ben, who is competing for the first time this weekend. So good luck to you, brother. I'm excited. I'm going to be at the show. So it's actually the show I did last year, but he's competing in True Novice and Novice for Men's Physique. So I'm super stoked for him. He looks great. Some of the stuff he actually took on his own. So like I kind of gave him a base of, diet and training and all that stuff, and he actually tweaked a few things on his own. And I would say it worked out for the betterment of his physique, yeah, like I said, I don't know if he would see this or not, but good luck, brother, and I'll definitely be out there cheering for you, and I'm excited to be there and see it. So, anyways, yeah, man. Again, most importantly, God bless, and from myself, the Natty Teacher, and from the entire Natty family, this episode of Road to Natty Pro is out. I will catch y'all on the next one.